Another week, more snow to shovel there in Buffalo. Thanks for joining us here on the AccuWeather Network as they gear up for another playoff game in Buffalo, Orchard Park more specifically, where they've had the snow throughout the week. But guess what? The numbers are going to show that, well, we don't have much snow. It's still cold. 23 degrees seems to be the number as we talk about this game heading through Sunday evening. The winds still adding in a bit of a factor. Even though they're trying to bring in milder air, it'll mean the real feel values go back into the teens. So yes, this weekend still keeping the chill. Meanwhile, as you look, we need more ice on the lake to actually shut off that lake effect snow. And you can see we're starting to grow that across Lake Erie. We've done that through the western edge of it with some of the pink there shading in where that ice is. We've also seen some around Buffalo. We've seen more around the Great Lakes. We've upped that ice coverage to 12.3%, so a significant growth in ice coverage across the Great Lakes just in the past 8 days, where we were 8 days ago around 1%. In fact, that ice coverage has made for some beautiful sights. Check out this view as you go through winter. Well, it's all part of the cold air mass that continues to kick around across the northern tier of the nation. Check out 9 in Fargo, 3 in Sioux Falls, 5 in Des Moines. A lot of places across Iowa in the single digits below zero overnight for air temperatures. We're at 18 right now in Chicago. It is a cold day, and tonight that much colder. It's not necessarily record setting, but it is a lot of chill for January. This cold air mass still in place for Sunday. It's starting to moderate, though, and we're starting to bring in the milder times. In fact, head over to Rapid City. We're in the mid-40s here, as well as Scottsbluff, but as you work your way farther east, just 2 in Des Moines for the high, and Chicago only topping out in the lower 20s. We don't even make it to the freezing mark, so we're staying below freezing for another day. That starts to change Monday. We had the 34 in Chicago, and look at this. We've got ice. That spells out some troubles. Yeah, there's a storm system pushing in from the south. It's going to bring ice to Kansas City, St. Louis. All of these a big threat as we head throughout Monday into Tuesday across the northern tier. So we will be talking about that ice potential. It breaks out Sunday across the southern U.S., and that could be some substantial icing that could create power outages. So be cautious as we go through the early week, because travel will have an impact, especially near that I-80 to I-90 corridor through the central tier of the nation. It also means snow on the northern side. Places like Milwaukee picking up 1 to 3 inches of snow. Green Bay, the frozen tundra, about 3 to 6 inches. Good swath here of the Great Lakes getting in on the snow. But for Detroit, we're a little too far south for that cutoff. So as we get that milder air to come in, it does mean some icing potential ahead. That is part of the cold winds coming in over the Great Lakes. So we do have more of that snowfall out there in several locations. We saw this last storm really dump a lot of snow for the higher elevations of Pennsylvania, Maryland, West Virginia, being some of the big winners with more than 1.5 feet of snowfall. So if you want to go skiing, snowboarding, this weekend might be one of your better options. You can see the radar scan still showing you some snow starting to work its way on through. Some of this is light to moderate snow trying to push through New England, but mostly what we're getting are those streamers coming in off the Great Lakes, and that's more of that lake effect snow for us that we continue to deal with in a couple locations, and it will still pile up in a few spots. It's why we have some of those winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories still in place around the Great Lakes. The winds, they are working their low. 10 for the low in Detroit. Again, those AccuWeather real feel values, pretty cold to start off your Sunday morning. So if you're headed to church or possibly running some errands, you do want to wear those extra layers. Sunday, the cold sticks with us, but we're going to start to get moderated a little bit more in the right direction. New York City still below freezing for a high, but we do